All right, this week on Camera Talk. Are we in Japan? No. Are we in China? No. Going back to Germany. Lights. Not the lights as in the lights. But lights as in Leica, before they were called Leica. Lights. And we're looking at where their 50 millimeter started to really take off. This was the 1933. That's right, mister. 1933. Boy, that was back when Keith Richards was just, really getting good at guitar. And
you can't always get what you want.
This is 1933's version of a 5 centimeter, which today we'd call 50 millimeter, a Summar F2. Is it any good? It was certainly good back in the day. Well, let's see if it's still any good today. So grab yourself something to eat or drink, and let's get it on together.
Here I am, Vietnam. Rain is always coming down.
This is Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Dylan. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back for another episode of Camera Talk.
What? No.
Yes, we're going to be talking about this lens right over here. But first, Dylan, right, let me fix your dew a little bit. He just woke up from his nap, so he's got the bed head look going on here. But if you compare his haircut from several videos ago, you'll see that I've kind of eliminated that mushroom helmet look by trimming more of the bulk off the top. That's what the difference is between letting my wife cut his hair and letting me cut his hair. She just takes chopping little pieces of it here and there. All right, well, let's not be wasting our video about talking about picking on mommy's haircutting techniques.
Fat woman, my ass!
So what are we looking at today? We are looking at a classic. This is something much older than Daddy. I know Daddy's an old guy, but this is something from Ernst Leitz-Leica. This was long before they called themselves Leica. And this is a Summar. And it's a 50 centimeter, because that's what they used to gauge them in back in the day. Which the equivalent today is 50 millimeters. For those who are metrically challenged, don't worry, everything's in units of 10, so all you got to do is slide your decimal point along and you're done. See, there's your metric lesson for the day, mister.
Fighting to stamp out metric ignorance and introduce the system that rules the world.
This particular model, or not the model, this particular sample that I have in my hand here was kind of towards the tail end of their production. This lens was produced between 1933 and 1939. Gauging by the serial number on this, which is, what is that? 384,591. If you can look that up in their serial number list, that puts this in 1937 range. So it's an old lens. Now, this lens was kind of the first in a long line. This is, for those who know about Leica lenses, the Summicron is kind of their standard 50 millimeter lens. Well, this is the one that started it all. This was the very first 50 millimeter f2.
From the naked dawn of man.
So the Summar, which later, the next rendition of this became the Sumatar 50 millimeter f2 in 1939. I have one of those as well. We'll talk about that another day. But again, this was the one that started it all. What are you enjoying watching me talk up close and personal? And this was designed by who? Do you know? Have you ever heard of Max Barrick? Well, Professor Barrick was the optics designer for Leitz in the day, and he worked closely with Oscar Barnack, and everybody remembers him, right? Well, not you personally remember him, but he's the one who created the Leica M rangefinder camera that we all know and love today. My M9 here. My M10, just a quickie update, my M10 is actually back from Germany. It's in Vietnam. It's in the customs process right now, going through, so I should be getting it next week. Yay! Finally, it's only 6 months later. Anywho, so Max and Oscar collectively worked on designing this. Max also designed the Summar, and died shortly thereafter. Poor guy. But hey, I guess that happens, right? People live and die. But so it was a Max-Oscar collaboration that brought this to light, so to speak. So, you know, what else? You know, Max also made this predecessor, which was the 50mm 3.5 Elmar, which was very successful in the day. But when this baby came out, you know, everybody wanted one. There was like a year's waiting list to get themselves one, and it was quite pricey. In today's dollars, it'd be 2,000, you know, roughly 2,000 US dollars. To which, if you know the price of Leica lenses, is a pretty good deal. So anyway, it was a groundbreaker for its day. Now there's some, you know, if you compare it to more modern lenses, it's got some odd things like its aperture range. It goes from f2 to f12.5, and its increments are just as weird. You get f2, f2.2, 3.2, 4.5, 6.3, 9, and 12.5. Where'd they come up with those numbers?
That's weird.
You know, compared to the ones we all know and love today with the 2, 2.8, 4, 5.6, 8, 11, and 16, you know, on today's Leica lenses. So anyway, some of the things that you have to be careful with this particular aged lens is also there's no coating on them, and so there's no protection at all on the glass, and it's not exactly hardened glass either. They call it soft as chalk. If you're lucky, like I am, you get yourself a fairly clean copy. I don't have the little swirly cleaning marks from when people go, oh, there's dust on my lens, and they grind into it trying to get the dust off. Luckily, somebody took good care of this, so it's pretty much scratch free on that. But again, you have to worry about that type of thing, and because it's uncoated, you also have to worry about flaring and ghosting and all that kind of stuff. So, well, settle yourself down, Mr. Excitable. Are you worried about flares? You worried about flares? Well, you know, flaring, right? Yeah, those guys.
Dancing down the street and I don't know, wearing a rainbow flag all the time.
But if you use a hood, it helps reduce that. Or like me, I just tend to stay out of bright, sunny situations, and it works just fine. Decent colors, decent contrast. You know, especially for its sharpness. If you can even compare them to today's lenses, center sharpness is excellent. So it's a perfect portrait lens, right? Keeping you right in the center there and kind of blurring out the edges, which is what a lot of modern lenses do as well. So the only weakness in that category is shadow detail is not all that great with this baby. It's bokeh. We know about bokeh, right? The quality of your out of focus background.
Smooth, buttery bokeh.
Is rather painterly as people would say. Yes, painterly, like a Rembrandt or a Picasso or a weird Salvador Dali type thing. But you know, again, it's an old lens, so you know, back in the day, people weren't really concerned with bokeh or anything else, and it was just part of the effect of the lenses in the first place. So its best performance is kind of ranges from people's opinions. Some say 3.2 to 6.3, others say 6.3 and 9 are really its best performance. But you know, here at Camera Talk, we like to shoot everything wide open, right? Just to show you what that wide open looks like. So so I'm going to do that. We'll get you some shots of some wide open pictures of this guy. Yeah, that's right, this guy. You know who that is. And my camera that I use to shoot these videos. Now its specs are 6 elements in 4 groups. Its close focus is 1 meter. So it's not all that, definitely not all that good for close-ups on you, right? Like even my modern Leica here is 70 centimeters, so it's 1 meter. It is a 6-bladed aperture, which was, you know, kind of the thing for the day. Remember, it was only like 10 years later, 20 years later, where people using 15 blades and things like this. So 6-bladed aperture is okay. The Summar actually that I have has 10 blades. It kind of went up. It's another kind of story about the Summar 2. Not that there was a second one. 2 as in also. Is that when the Summar guys were producing that particular lens, they found a boatload of leftover aperture blades from this one, so they started incorporating 6 blades into that. But luckily, the copy I have has the 10-bladed aperture. It's obviously all metal, brass, and everything else, so it's definitely not light. I mean, it's very small. It's the smallest lens that Leitz or Leica ever produced. But it's 176 grams, so it's, again, it's a beefy little piece of glass and metal. Anywho, anything else? I think that was it, right? So let's get you some shots of the end of the lens that I use. Hold on, I gotta find where my dots line up here, so I can make sure we're on target. All right, so what I do is, you know, I use an M50, Canon M50 to shoot these videos, and Dylan always tries to find a different position to get in when I do this. He usually likes to get his head on my chest and behind the camera, so hold your horses, mister, I'm still explaining. So the M50 has a kit lens, an EFM 15 to 45 kit lens, you know, that I shoot all these videos at f15, and well, it's not f15. At 15 millimeter, I shoot these at f3.5. But I focus in on the writing on the end of the lens and see how sharp it is from here. It's about 1.75, close to 2 meters. And so let me do that now. See, there's that. Let me get my head on your chest. Right about there, looks okay. All right, 1, 2, 3. So that was at f2. Let's do f4.5. Usually we do 5.6, but we don't have 5.6. So we're going to do f4.5. So let's do that. just to show you what that looks like. Right about there. Pretty good. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that was at f2 and f5.6. Now you may ask yourself, hey, I've got an M camera right there. Why aren't I using this with that? They were, well, they weren't made for each other, but even this ancient lens you can use on your Leica products. Well, it's just the Sony here is, because it's a modern one, I've got the I've got magnifier, so I can zip in as close as I can to the writing on the lens barrel, so I can see if it's sharp or not. For my eyes from here, since I'm an old guy, I can't even read anything on it from here. So so I kind of need that help to see if it's in focus or not. But just for shits and giggles, you know, shits and giggles. Yeah, I'll show you what that may look like if I do. That's right. You hang on, mister. If I do use this on my M body, which is an M9. See, if I had M10, it has live view, and I could do the same thing. I could focus in on the lens itself. Am I in there? Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah, good. All right, so let's see how I can eyeball it through the rangefinder, and we'll see what that looks like. All right, make sure my windows are clean, otherwise rangefinders don't work very well in that regard. So let me see how good I can get a image out of my M9. All right about there, looks good. All right, if I could just stop him from, stop it, just sit there, man. It's not gonna work on this one. So woo. All right, 1, 2, 3. That is right. And just in case, let's do a backup one. As I say, just in case. Ooh, 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 ooh. All right, how about right there? Okay, so we'll see what that looks like anyway. I'm not expecting much from that, because who knows when the last time I forget what the name of it now is. Who knows when this was last calibrated anyway. So let's do get everything in place there. Okay, so should our viewers get themselves one of these?
9 doctors out of 10 doctors probably agree.
It's up to you. It's a good little collector's piece, a nice piece of history. You're probably not going to use it as an everyday walk-around lens anyway. So, and you could find them at various prices depending on the quality and condition that they're in. I think for mine, I think I bought this for about 300 bucks. But anyway, you can, you know, search high and low and see, you know, what you can come up with that. So recommended? Sure, if you've got the money and you've got the desire to have one, I'd say yes. Using it as a regular lens, I'd say no, forget it, move on. There's a million other, you know, all these other lenses up here can do just as well, if not better. So how about we get some shots of Mr. Dillon at f2. Are you ready? f2. And here's some shots of Dylan at f4.5. And how about some of our usual random crap? The Google random crap. Could be butterflies and rainbows and flowers and bunny rabbits and watches and cars and boats and airplanes and trees and clouds and blah, 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 blah. That's why we call it random crap, right? So here's a bunch of random crap at F whatever. All right, so how about we talk a little bit about our little plug for Luminar, right? Our photo editing software that we use here at Camera Talk. So Luminar AI, Luminar Neo are the two bits of software that I purchased. The latest one is Luminar Neo, so you don't need the AI because the Neo's a mixture of AI and Luminar 4. So it's got all that stuff anyway, plus some new bells and whistles that that AI did not have. But the AI is very cool. You know what AI stands for, right? It is artificial intelligence. It's that fake intelligence that everybody knows and loves so well these days.
I don't care.
But it makes your life a heck of a lot easier. And your workflow a heck of a lot easier if you could just click, click, click on a few buttons and let the software work its magic for you, right? Very cool. It's economical. It's only $80. You know, if you, you know, are used to the other big name ones out there, they're relatively more expensive, and some of them have subscriptions that you have to pay every year. So you add that up over time and whatever. So this is yours for life, though. You buy it, it's yours. And they update all the time, free updates. And you would think, oh, wow, they're just free updates, no big deal. They're constantly working to update. And you know where they are while they're updating? They're in Ukraine. That's right, they're in Ukraine. And so they're dealing with the big moron who lives next door, Mr. VP, and that doesn't mean vice president. And so they're dealing with that stuff all at the same time. So kudos to them. The company's name is Skylum. You know, and you know, so it's not only supporting us if you want to buy that, it's supporting Skylum. And if you want a deal, because we're all about deals here, right? Saving money and stuff. That's Modesty Photography, all about trying to get you deals on things and tips and tricks about photography and vintage lenses and cameras and all that kind of stuff. But if you click below, you're going to click below, there's a link in the description to our, you know, our copy of Luminar, and you can buy it for $70 instead of $80. So you save $10. Who doesn't want to save $10, right? And if you save that $10, they give it to us. Well, what the hell? Who doesn't like a little kickback, as they call it? Yeah, kickback. And does Dylan get that kickback? Or does Daddy get the kickback? Well, in reality, it's Daddy, but Dylan gets the kickback and he gets $1 million. Look at that look. There's Dr. Evil if I've ever seen it.
$1 million.
All right, so another way to support us, support our channel, is to do what? What does YouTube like to get our name out there in the world, get us exposed to the public. Well, they'd like you to subscribe. And how about Dylan? Dylan's gonna subscribe. And you want to do the 4-finger subscribe, huh? All right, get your fingers out, my fingers out. Subscribe. That's right. Dylan likes subscribers, don't you? You want to write every one of our subscribers a thank you letter? It's like, what the hell?
No. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No. 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 No.
Well, besides subscribers, what else does the algorithm like? How about the thumbs up? That's right. And if we use the thumbs up, we can show you the thumbs up girls, right? Thumbs up. Thumbs up. All right. Woo, aren't they cute, huh? Yeah, so I think that was about it, right? That's all we wanted to talk about. We do one of these videos every week, every Friday, Vietnam time. For those who don't know where Vietnam is, it's not just a movie or a bit of history. It is located on the western shores of the China Sea, or as they call it here, the Eastern Sea, because they don't like China here, so they call it something else, right? And, you know, why should everybody keep coming back for more? Because we love everybody, and you belong here. That's right. Where do they belong, mister? What's the name of our show? This is Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Dylan. That's right. Mr. Dylan likes to come back every week for a new Camera Talk. So I think that was it, right? Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for buying a copy of Luminar. Thank you for what else? Thank you for just being you. All right. So that's all we got for this week. Come on back next week. We'll do it all again with something new and exciting. So ready to say goodbye to everybody? Huh? Want to say bye-bye to everybody? All right. Bye-bye.
Here I am, Vietnam. Rain is always